Chapter 1887. Lowly Woman. Ha, as if you're not a woman. Yan Xiaoyi could not bear to see Huangfu Fengyan provoking Qiao Jin's face. She laughed coldly and continued, "Right, how can a person like you, whose mouth is filled with filthy thoughts, be a woman?" Huangfu Fengyan had never suffered such insults before. Her expression instantly darkened and turned malevolent. She raised her hand and a golden light flashed past her palm. With a bang, she struck a palm towards the direction of the barrier, completely disregarding it. At this moment, Yan Xiaoyi was hiding behind Qiao Jin. If this palm landed, the one heavily injured would definitely be Qiao Jin. Slut Jin! Yan Xiaoyi cried out in panic, hugging his waist with both hands, wanting to forcefully change direction with him. But her body was pressed to the ground by Qiao Jin's strength, unable to move. Boom, boom, boom. That golden light smashed onto the barrier. The golden light flickered, emitting a deafening explosion. However, in the next instant, that golden light was reflected back. Huangfu Fengyan simply did not expect that this barrier had the ability to reflect. She was unable to react for a moment. Fortunately, Huangfu Dongyu reached out to pull Huangfu Fengyan in time. Only then did he barely prevent the tragedy of Huangfu Fengyan being injured by his own palm wind. But Huangfu Fengyan's shoulder was still grazed by the golden light, and fresh red blood seeped out. The expression on her face instantly turned ashen. Her eyes shot out an extremely sharp cold light as she glared fiercely at the two people behind the barrier. Lowly woman! You dare to injure me! Huangfu Fengyan gritted her teeth, her expression savage. Before Yan Xiaoyi could speak, she was already blocked by Qiao Jin behind her. Qiao Jin's expression was cold. Huangfu Fengyan, watch your mouth. Huangfu Fengyan's hand that was covering the wound on her shoulder paused. Hearing his words, she could not help but laugh. Looks like fifth brother cares quite a lot about this lowly woman, to be so protective of her. Why? This is the woman you fancy? No. Qiao Jin's voice was piercingly cold. She's my classmate. Huangfu Fengyan swept a nasty look at Yan Xiaoyi. Is that so? The way she looks at you is filled with love. That doesn't mean I like her. Qiao Jin's tone became heavier, as if he was extremely impatient. You didn't come here to denounce me for liking that woman, did you? Indeed not. Huangfu Fengyan looked at the lady behind Qiao Jin. The bright light in her eyes suddenly dimmed after Qiao Jin's words, and her mood became indescribably happy. Even the wound on his shoulder didn't seem to hurt anymore. What she loved the most in her life was to see lovers who couldn't be together in the end. Just like now. When Yan Xiaoyi heard Qiao Jin's words, her face turned paler by several degrees. She was just his classmate. She loved him, but it didn't mean that he would love her back. Chapter 1888. Huangfu Qifei looked at Qiao Jin and frowned. Qiao Jin, come out, follow us back to the Huangfu family to accept punishment. Qiao Jin's expression once again regained its previous calmness. He curled his thin lips in a smile that wasn't a smile, smiling somewhat sinisterly. You saw it too, we can't get out of this thing, you guys can't enter either. Huangfu Trio's expression instantly changed. They were naturally clear of Huangfu Fengyan's ability. Huangfu Fengyan's palm just now used at least 50% of her profound strength. It was all reflected back by this protective barrier. Huangfu Fengyan narrowed her eyes, staring at the protective barrier and said in a cold voice, "You don't want to return to the Huangfu family, so you intentionally shut yourself in here?" Seemingly finding an excuse. Huangfu Qifei's elegant and handsome face tightly furrowed, echoing Huangfu Fengyan's words, "Fifth brother, if you really don't wish to return to the Huangfu family, then you should fulfill your promise back then. Since you've already used the Huangfu family's strength, then no matter how you hide now, you must return to the Huangfu family. Our fifth brother completely looks down on the Huangfu family. Huangfu Dongyu said eccentrically, since that's the case, we'll now, before he finished speaking. Suddenly, within the battle plane, a vast and terrifying energy surged over like a torrential flood. As if the energy that was imprisoned and suppressed was suddenly released. That powerful energy caused everyone present to reveal a horrified expression. Can't come out. This old man wants to see how this thing can't come out, can't enter. A deep voice, vigorous and powerful. Immediately after, a figure, like a ghost, appeared in front of the protective barrier. Yan Xiaoyi didn't even have time to see that person's appearance clearly. Then she heard an earth-shattering sound. Rumble, her body, was tightly hugged by Qiao Jin. Her head was forcefully pressed into Qiao Jin's embrace. Yan Xiaoyi was just about to struggle when she suddenly felt something heavily smashing down on her. Qiao Jin's breathing, from time to time, became heavier by the side of her ear. She hurriedly opened her eyes, raising her beautiful eyes. Only to see that the protective barrier around the two of them had unknowingly shattered. It was also unknown what material the fragments of the protective barrier were made of. The fragments were sharp and heavy. Crashing onto Qiao Jin's body, Yan Xiaoyi could even hear the sound of the heavy object crashing onto flesh. Slut Jin. Yan Xiaoyi's voice trembled as she tried to push Qiao Jin away. But how could her strength compare to Qiao Jin? Elder Jin Huang. The respectful voices of Huangfu and the other two rang out. The fragments of the protective shield had already fallen to the ground. Qiao Jinkai let go of Yan Xiaoyi, turned around, and looked in the direction of the voice. Chapter 1889. Qiao Jin pursed his lips and pretended not to care. It has nothing to do with her. I just want to live. Elder Jin smiled meaningfully. He looked at Qiao Jin as if he was looking at a chess piece in his hands. You are the heir of the Huangfu family. You must return with me. Qiao Jin's calm expression changed. A hint of resistance flashed in his eyes. Elder Jin's eyes glimmered as he took in the expression on Qiao Jin's face. He suddenly grinned, his smile somewhat cruel. Qiao Jin, as the chosen successor of the Huangfu family, you should settle down after running away for so many years. Even if you aren't willing to become the successor, but you still have to think of your pitiful mother. If you insist on running away from the Huangfu family and disturb ancestor Huangfu, you should be very clear on how the Huangfu family will treat your pitiful mother. He mentioned his mother. Qiao Jin's expression turned livid. His dark eyes flashed with an extremely cold light, and his pupils faintly flashed with gold light. Your poor mother can survive until now only because of your identity as the heir. But, if you insist on resisting the identity of the heir, you will no longer have the ability to protect your poor mother. Elder Jin chuckled. His voice was bone-chilling. Every word was like a knife stabbing into Qiao Jin's heart. His meaning was clear. After being willful for so long, it was time to settle down. If Qiao Jin continued to be willful and run away from the Huangfu family, they would target Qiao Jin's mother. His mother was Qiao Jin's sore spot. Elder Jin was right. He did not want to be the heir. He wanted to run away from the Huangfu family. But he had to worry about his mother. He could run away easily and willfully because he knew that the Huangfu family valued the heir very much. No matter what his identity was. As long as he was still the heir, the Huangfu family had to take good care of his mother, who gave birth to the heir that was valued by their ancestor. However, it was enough for him to escape from his family once. If there was a second time, even if he was the heir, the Huangfu family would not allow him to be willful. Qiao Jin clenched his fists. The golden light in his eyes grew brighter. The dazzling golden eyes caused the expressions of the 4 Huangfu clan members to turn even uglier. This was especially so for Huangfu and the other two. Their eyes were filled with unconcealable jealousy. They were jealous that Qiao Jin had such a pair of pure golden eyes. He was jealous that Qiao Jin could become the successor of the Huangfu clan. Qiao Jin calmed down. Emperor Jin stroked his beard in satisfaction. The glint in his eyes was obvious. Pausing, his gaze looked towards Yan Xiaoyi, who was behind Qiao Jin. It's rare that you like a young lady. This old man will make the decision and allow this young lady to follow you back to the Huangfu family. This will also prevent you from fleeing the Huangfu family because you can't see her. No need. This time, Qiao Jin answered extremely quickly. He stood in front of Yan Xiaoyi. His tall and broad body blocked Yan Xiaoyi's figure completely behind him. She's just my classmate. There's no need to drag an unimportant person into our Huangfu family. Qiao Jin's face darkened as he gave Elder Jin a warning look. His golden eyes shone with a cold light. As if the Golden Emperor dared to implicate Yan Xiaoyi. It was as though he was about to explode. That threatening look made the Golden Emperor's lips curl into a meaningful smile. The more nervous Qiao Jin was, the more he showed that he cared about this. Nirvana Realm Young Lady. Star. Chapter 1890. Elder Jin knew what was going on. But in front of Qiao Jin, he naturally wouldn't show it. He followed Qiao Jin's intentions and stroked his white beard. Since that's the case, then leave this unrelated lady here. Successor young master, follow us back obediently. Qiao Jin looked at Elder Jin's scheming eyes and his tightly pursed lips turned slightly pale. After a while, he lifted his feet and moved forward. Suddenly, a hand tugged at his sleeve from behind. Qiao Jin stopped in his tracks and turned back to look at her. Meeting a pair of reddened eyes. He felt a sharp pain in his heart. As if he knew what Yan Xiaoyi was thinking, he anxiously tried to break free from her tugging. However, Yan Xiaoyi threw herself into his arms. She wrapped her arms tightly around his firm waist and abdomen. Her beautiful red eyes stared at Qiao Jin without blinking. Don't think of leaving me behind. Qiao Jin, no matter if you want to return to the devil class with me or go to whatever Huangfu family, don't think of leaving me behind. Yan Xiaoyi. He was furious and forcefully pulled Yan Xiaoyi out of his arms. Don't mess around, this is not the time for you to be willful. Yan Xiaoyi stubbornly bit her lips. I'm not messing around. I've said it before, I like you, I like you. No matter if you like me or not, I'll follow you wherever you go. She had already clearly told Qiao Jin her feelings for him. She had no intention of backing down because of Qiao Jin's unlove. Because she loved Qiao Jin. She believed that as long as she used her sincerity to accompany Qiao Jin, one day, Qiao Jin would understand her feelings. If Qiao Jin left with these Huangfu family people, she would never have the chance to meet Qiao Jin again. No matter what, she didn't want to leave Qiao Jin. The lady's crisp and clear voice was filled with sincerity. Qiao Jin's body suddenly froze. His eyes glimmered as they met the lady's gaze. Such a bold and unpretentious confession and courtship made Qiao Jin's heart bloom like flowers in spring, blooming with a riot of colors. He wanted to hug Yan Xiaoyi so much. He wanted to pour out all his feelings for her, to let her understand. However, Emperor Jin's cold, smiling voice rang in his ears. Young master successor, since this young lady loves you so much, why do you have to hurt her heart? It won't be a problem for our Huangfu clan to raise one more girl. He laughed cruelly, seemingly thinking for Qiao Jin's sake. His voice brought Qiao Jin back to his senses under the ecstasy of Yan Xiaoyi's confession. He suppressed the excitement in his heart and the impulse to embrace Yan Xiaoyi into his arms. Xiao Chen's face was ice-cold as he looked at Emperor Jin coldly. He exuded a strong magnetism that was extremely oppressive. Emperor Jin, you are one of the Huangfu clan's imperial elders. Your every word and action represents the Huangfu clan's identity and quality. Is this the quality of the Huangfu clan to casually insult young ladies' reputation? He lifted his head slightly. His ordinary-looking face exuded a noble and arrogant aura. The smile on Emperor Jin's face darkened. He seemed to be angry that Xiao Jin actually dared to have such a dark expression on his face. However, no matter how displeased he was, Emperor Jin still lowered his head and said word by word, "Young master successor is right. I really shouldn't have insulted young lady's reputation." Xiao Jin brushed away the hand that was hugging his arm and glanced at Yan Xiaoyi coldly. "Yan Xiaoyi, you are a woman. Can you be a little more reserved? You've only gone through life and death with me for less than 2 days, and it has developed to the extent that you want to depend on me for the rest of your life. How worried are you about getting married?" Star. Chapter 1891. Xiao Jin's lips twitched in disdain. "Just because you like me, I have to let you stay by my side. Yan Xiaoyi, can you be more shameless? Can you be more reserved?" His sharp voice pierced Yan Xiaoyi's eardrums like a sharp knife. Yan Xiaoyi's face turned pale instantly. Her eyes widened in shock as she looked at Xiao Jin in disbelief. She could not believe that these words came from Xiao Jin's mouth. He said she was shameless. She was not reserved. He hated her that much. Was he so unwilling to let her stay by his side? Yan Xiaoyi's hand was forcefully pushed away by Xiao Jin. She staggered back a few steps, almost losing her balance. Xiao Jin had already concealed his expression and walked towards Elder Jin expressionlessly. Elder Jin and the 3 Huangfu family members glanced in Yan Xiaoyi's direction. Then, they walked towards Xiao Jin. Elder Jin stretched out his hand, wanting to grab Xiao Jin's arm and take him away. "Old man, how dare you touch my brother?" His clear voice seemed to be covered in layers of frost. Then, a ray of dark light, as fast as lightning, exploded towards them. A vast amount of energy released a shocking power. Elder Jin sensed the surging energy and quickly retreated a few steps. Bang! A deafening sound rang out. The surroundings seemed to be cracked, the earth quaked and the mountains shook. At the place where Elder Jin had been standing just now, a beam of energy suddenly exploded. Elder Jin's face darkened. He could not help but be shocked. There was actually such a powerful force in the lower realm. How was this possible? If this force had hit him, he was afraid that he would either die or be crippled. Elder Jin's expression suddenly turned serious. He raised his eyes warily and looked in the direction where the force had come from. He had just raised his head when he saw a stunning girl dressed in a fiery long dress. She seemed to be stepping on the void as she walked towards him. Her surroundings were pitch black and the faintly twinkling stars made her look like a fairy from the 9 heavens. Like a fiery red dress, like the clouds of sunset, a gorgeous arc swept past. Under everyone's gaze, the young girl had already walked in front of them. The light in the young girl's charming eyes was cold and filled with an extremely strong murderous intent. She was clearly a beauty that could topple cities. However, it caused one to feel a sense of fear from the bottom of their hearts. This young girl, who was she? Was she a human from the lower realm? No, impossible. How could there be such a beautiful and refined girl in the lower realm? Who are you? You dare to meddle in my Huangfu clan's matters? After Huangfu Fengyan saw the young girl's appearance, jealousy grew in her heart. 4th young lady. Emperor Jin shouted. His face was gloomy as he glared at Huangfu Fengyan. Couldn't this idiot girl tell that this young lady wasn't someone to be trifled with? Then, Elder Jin immediately bowed and looked at the young girl. "Senior, although my 4th Mrs. words are a little harsh, they are the truth. This is a family matter. If Senior is passing by, is there something wrong with your Huangfu family's ears? The young girl interrupted Elder Jean impatiently. Her charming eyes were filled with ridicule and coldness. Family matters. Qiao Jin and Xiao Yi are my Yiqing Luo's family. Whatever family matters you want to settle, I'll talk to you. These words really didn't give any face to the Huangfu clan. Elder Jin's respectful attitude turned gloomy. Senior, you, don't call me senior. Yiqing Luo's eyes were filled with arrogance. I'm only 15 years old. You're already half in the coffin, aren't you ashamed to call me senior? Star. Chapter 1892. As one of the 5 emperors of the Huangfu family, when had he ever suffered such humiliation? Especially when he heard Yiqing Luo said she was only 15 years old, he felt his face burning hot. He, the dignified Golden Emperor, addressed a 15-year-old young lady as senior. If this matter were to spread out, how could he survive in the Huangfu family? However, in the next instant, the words 15 years old stunned Elder Jean. 15 years old. This young lady was only 15 years old. 15 years old and already had such powerful and boundless power? When did that bunch of trash from the lower realm have such incredible innate talent? Cut the crap, this godforsaken place is going to give birth to a new monster. Yiqing Luo strolled to the front of Qiao Jin and Yan Xiao Yi as she crossed her arms. I'm their representative, whatever family matters you have, just say it. Qing Luo. Qiao Jin frowned and immediately tugged at Yiqing Luo. Don't go against the Huangfu family, that's a power that we can't go against. They want me, I'll just go back with them. Yiqing Luo directly slapped the back of Qiao Jin's hand. She sneered at Qiao Jin as the anger in her eyes was obvious. Shut the **ck up, I haven't even taught you a lesson and you're already thinking of escaping with that old man. Ha! Ha! Saying that, she winked at Yan Xiaoyi's direction. That wicked smile on her lips was like a blooming poppy, giving off a fatal temptation. Xiaoyi, don't worry, if this fellow dares to hurt your heart, I'll beat him till he can't get up. Yan Xiaoyi was stunned and was about to shake her head to reject. Qiao Jin didn't love her, that was a problem with her charm. Even if she beat Qiao Jin up, that wouldn't change the fact that Qiao Jin didn't love her. But at the next moment, when she met Qiao Jin's surprise, a helpless expression flashed past her eyes. She suddenly seemed to have caught onto something. She nodded her head at Yiqing Luo. All right, I'll wait for you to teach him a lesson on my behalf. Yiqing Luo's brows rose as she shifted her gaze back onto Elder Jean. Old man, you've heard it too. I have to bring this lad back home to teach him a lesson, so there's no way for me to let him go, so I've troubled you to make a wasted trip all the way here. You, preposterous. Elder Jean flew into a rage, and he fumed with rage. Who the hell are you? Yiqing Luo smiled sweetly, the person who snatched him from you. A cold glint flashed across Emperor Jin's golden and black eyes. Impudent. Huangfu Dongyu's face was gloomy, and he assumed the attitude of eldest young Master Huangfu. He furrowed his brows and glared at Qiao Jin. Fifth brother, are these the random friends you made in the lower bound? He snorted coldly, full of disdain. She's shameless and doesn't know how to be reserved. One is arrogant, willful, and has no manners at all. I really don't know what exactly you've done in the lower worlds to embarrass the Huangfu family. Hearing Huangfu Dongyu's reprimand, Yan Xiaoyi's face turned green and red. She bit her lower lip tightly, enduring the shame in her heart. Qiao Jin noticed Yan Xiaoyi's expression. He turned sideways and suddenly stretched out his hand to hold Yan Xiaoyi's little hand. His large, broad palm held her tightly. Yan Xiaoyi raised her head in astonishment, as she tried to retract her hand in a fluster. But Qiao Jin held her even tighter, as he shook his head at her. He indicated to her not to take Huangfu Dongyu's words to heart. Just as the both of them were entangled, the crisp sound of a slap resounded through the silent void. Star. Chapter 1893. How dare you hit me? You're just a lowly human from the lower realm, how dare you hit me? Huangfu Dongyu's raging voice was hoarse and sharp. He covered his face. That handsome and gloomy face had already swollen up. Huangfu Qifei and Huangfu Fengyan's expressions turned extremely ugly. Yiqing Luo actually hit their Huangfu family's eldest young master right in front of them. Wasn't this a blatant slap to their Huangfu family? Jin Huang Lao's expression was extremely ugly. But it wasn't because Yiqing Luo had slapped the Huangfu family's face. But he was astonished because when did Yiqing Luo make a move under his eyelids? If it wasn't for that crisp slap, he probably didn't even realize that his eldest young master had been slapped by a 15-year-old young lady. Following that, a scene that made Jin Huang Lao even more shocked happened. He saw Yiqing Luo's lips curled up into a charming smile. That stunning face that could topple a city was bewitching and seductive, exuding an extremely seductive charm. Even the Jin Huang Lao who was over 50 years old couldn't help but lost his senses. He had to admit that this 15-year-old young lady indeed had the capital to become a femme fatale that could bring calamity to the country. He. I not only hit you, I also kicked you. The young lady's voice was sweet and slightly chilly. As the young lady's laughter approached, before Huangfu Dongyu could react, he felt a dull pain in his chest. Immediately, his body felt light as he flew out directly. Bam! In the end, Huangfu Donghuang's body crashed heavily into the empty space. Huangfu Donghuang rolled on the ground in pain as he wailed and tried to get up. He had just sat up when he felt a fishy taste in his throat. With a "huff" sound, he spat out a mouthful of blood, which stained his brocade robe. Lowly human from the lower realm, do you know what our Huangfu family is? Huangfu Fengyan was terrified as she stared at Yiqing Luo in horror. It seemed that they couldn't imagine that this innocent-looking young lady would actually hit their eldest brother again and again. Yiqing Luo sneered as her gloomy voice seemed to be ridiculing them. Don't let me hear a single word that insults my friend, otherwise every time I hear it, I will beat you up. You! Huangfu Fengyan was so angry that her entire body was trembling. Yiqing Luo raised her eyebrows, her bright and beautiful face was overflowing with a flamboyant aura. It seemed to be saying, you don't believe me? Then go ahead and curse. See if this old lady will beat you to death. Huangfu Fengyan was so angry that her eyes turned red. She asked Elder Jin for help in a low voice. At this moment, Emperor Jin felt as if his old face had been slapped loudly. This time, it was reasonable to say that he was too careless. But the second time was simply looking down on his authority as an imperial elder. Chapter 1894. Yiqing Luo wasn't worried at all in the face of the violent profound energy. She stood in front of Qiao Jin and Yan Xiaoyi. She straightened her back without any intention of retreating. On the contrary, her pink lips curled into a sweet smile. As if she didn't care about Elder Jin's attack at all. Without a doubt, this caused Emperor Jin to feel even more humiliated. His anger surged, and the aura around his body began to surge, one after another. The profound qi was like a raging wave, just as it neared Yiqing Luo. Suddenly, a stronger wave of profound qi blocked in front of Yiqing Luo. It easily turned Elder Jin's profound qi into nothingness. Elder Jin stared at the wave of profound qi in front of Yiqing Luo in shock. The expression on his face changed unpredictably. Not only had his profound energy been blocked, but it had also directly dissipated. How was that possible? Even in the upper realm, there weren't many people who could dissipate his profound qi. How could anyone in this lower realm be able to block his power? What on earth was going on? There was such a powerful person in the lower realm. How could the people in the upper realm allow such a person to destroy the peace in the lower realm? He, old man, are you surprised? Are you surprised? Yi Qing Luo giggled. Who are you? Who are you? Elder Jean staggered a few steps back. His eyes were filled with unconcealable fear. Huangfu Fengyan barely managed to support Emperor Jin. The three siblings looked at each other, and their hearts were filled with shock. Who was Elder Jin? He was an extremely distinguished existence in the Huangfu family. But at this moment, he actually revealed a fearful expression towards a 15-year-old girl. Not only that, Elder Jin didn't gain any advantage in the hands of this 15-year-old girl. This world was too fantastical. Yi Qing Luo smiled and tilted her head. Old man, not only is your power weak, even your ears are weak. Why do you always make me repeat the same words? Saying that, she sighed softly and pretended to be helpless. No choice, I am the daughter of a good family who respects the old and loves the young. I have to explain again, I am Qiao Jin and this lady's family. If you want to settle your family matters, look for me. Respects the old and loves the young. Daughter of a good family. He. Why didn't they see it? In particular, Emperor Jin's current expression was ashen and ugly, like a vegetable. In the next instant, the great desolate Ian power in his body would go out of control. This was probably the first time the Metal Emperor had met someone who doubted his strength. Emperor Jin was supported by Huangfu Fengyan. Huangfu Dongyu was supported by Huangfu Qifei. The four of them stood opposite Yi Qing Luo and felt an indescribable strong pressure, pressing down on their necks, making it hard for them to stand straight. On the other hand, the people in front of them were smiling sweetly and chatting happily. This joy was imagined by Huangfu and the other two. In reality, Qiao Jin and Yan Xiaoyi's expressions contained hints of worry. Qing Luo, Huangfu family isn't a family from Nirvana realm. They are a family from the upper realm, heaven realm's four great families. Qiao Jin looked at Emperor Jin's ugly expression as he reminded Yi Qing Luo softly. Heaven realm. Yi Qing Luo raised her brows in surprise. Little Jin, you're actually from the heaven realm, that's amazing. This wasn't the main point, all right. The main point was that the target she was clamoring about was the forces from the upper realm's heaven realm. Offending the heaven realm's forces would have a huge impact on her future. If Huangfu family wanted to find trouble with Yi Qing Luo because of today's matter. Chapter 1895. Yi Qing Luo's pink lips rose slightly as she raised her hand and rubbed Xiao Jin's head. Be good, don't panic. Before I kill you, I will absolutely not let Huangfu family's people kill you. Qiao Jin gave up on communicating with Yi Qing Luo. They chatted as if there was no one else around. This caused the rage in the depths of Emperor Jin's heart to surge. He narrowed his eyes, and while Yi Qing Luo was still chatting with Qiao Jin, his golden pupils suddenly flashed. A ray of golden light turned into a soaring energy as it sneaked an attack on Yi Qing Luo. Qing Luo. Yan Xiaoyi faced this direction and immediately cried out in fear, be careful. Yi Qing Luo blinked her eyes, her long curly eyelashes were like butterfly wings, gently fluttering. Hearing Yan Xiaoyi's call, she waved her hand without a change in expression, it's all right. His words had just ended when the golden light had already rushed in front of Yi Qing Luo. With a loud bang, the golden light engulfed Yi Qing Luo entirely. Qing Luo. Qiao Jin and Yan Xiaoyi cried out in alarm at the same time. Yan Xiaoyi wanted to rush forward and break through the golden light. Qiao Jin held her little hand tightly, the expression on his face was extremely solemn, don't go over. Elder Jin's power is not something you and I can contend with. If you are touched by Elder Jin's dark force, even you will be engulfed. Qing Luo is here to save us. Yan Xiaoyi struggled against Xiao Jin's hand as her eyes instantly turned red. With a sobbing tone, she angrily rebuked Emperor Jin. So what if you're the emperor elder of a great family in the heaven realm? You still have to sneak up on a 15-year-old girl. Is this the style of your so-called big families? Emperor Jin was extremely annoyed by the scolding. His face was boiling hot, and his heart was filled with shame. However, he would never admit that he had ambushed a 15-year-old girl. As long as he killed these people, who would find out if he hid this matter? With this thought in mind, Emperor Jin looked at Yan Xiaoyi with a murderous look in his eyes. Elder Jin Huang. Xiao Jin immediately pulled Yan Xiaoyi into his arms. He stared at Elder Jin warily and threateningly. As the heir, I order you to retract your murderous aura. Emperor Jin laughed sinisterly. All of a sudden, he left the spot. Like a bolt of lightning, he darted towards Xiao Jin. Xiao Jin's golden eyes flashed and he hurriedly wrapped his arms around Yan Xiaoyi's waist to avoid Elder Jin's attack. He narrowed his golden eyes, and a dazzling golden light shot out. Are you disobeying the heir's orders? This old man is only doing this for the future of the successor's young master. These evil women who have changed the successor's young master must be eliminated. Elder Jin spoke in a dignified manner. Obviously, he had made up his mind to kill Yan Xiaoyi. You want to eliminate us? Chapter 1896. Yiqing Luo blinked her pure and innocent eyes as she beamed, because, I have a protector. Protector? What the hell was that? Elder Jin's face was filled with uneasiness and doubt. Yiqing Luo very kindly raised her voice, My guardian angel, there's someone here who wants to see you. In the air, there seemed to be a faint sigh. That sigh was filled with a touch of pampering and helplessness. The next moment, the surrounding aura suddenly fluctuated, pressing down on everyone, making it hard for them to breathe. Shortly after, the void turned pitch black. A man dressed in a purple robe, like a banished immortal, stepped on the air. The purple robe billowed, peerless. The figure that was slowly walking over was surrounded by a purple flowing light. Under the pitch-black void, it was extremely eye-catching. When a few pairs of eyes fell on that peerless face of peerless elegance, all of a sudden, their legs went limp. In the next instant, he knelt on the ground with a clatter. Elder Jin didn't even care about Yiqing Luo's glower flame fan as he knelt directly on the ground. The sharp blade cut through his skin. He didn't care at all as he respectfully knelt on the ground. Yiqing Luo kept her glower flame fan and stretched out her hands to the man who was coming towards her. Protector, I want a hug. The man's peach blossom eyes were filled with a pool of spring water. The way he looked at Yiqing Luo was pampering and gentle. He stretched out his hand and caught the young lady who pounced on him. His slender fingers gently brushed the hair on her forehead. Yiqing Luo rubbed against his palm contentedly, like a cat who had succeeded in stealing a fish. The sweet atmosphere between the two of them. Anyone could tell the relationship between the two of them. Elder Jin's forehead was covered in cold sweat. No wonder, a 15-year-old girl was able to block his attack and dissipate his profound energy. So it was the Overlord who had been secretly protecting her. If he had known that this young lady and the Overlord were so close, he would never come down to the Nirvana realm to catch any successor. Get up and get lost. Dmo Xian glanced at Elder Jin and the others. His tone was cold and emotionless. Emperor Jin kowtowed fiercely and said with a trembling voice, Yes. Yes. This lowly one will leave immediately, leave immediately. As he spoke, he crawled up from the ground, dragging the other 3 Huangfu siblings with him as he hurriedly left. Wait. Dmo Xian's eyes flickered as he spoke in a calm voice. Dong dong dong. The sound of their knees hitting the ground was extremely clear. When Yiqing Luo heard that, she couldn't help but felt a stinging pain in her knees. Qiao Jin is the brother of the future empress. If the future empress does not release him, then you people from the heaven realm should obediently stay in the heaven realm and not try to create trouble. His voice was calm, and there was no way to hide his emotions. However, he was still emanating an irresistible pressure. It was as if he was born with a sense of nobility that made people unable to help but kneel and kowtow. Emperor Jin trembled uncontrollably, not daring to defy him at all. Not only did he want them to stop harassing Qiao Jin. Even if Dmo Xian wanted Qiao Jin to never return to the Huangfu family, he would also agree. Who cares about their ancestors' recognition? Who cares about the Huangfu clan's inheritance? Once Dizun was offended, don't even talk about inheritance. Whether the Huangfu clan could still exist was a problem. Dmo Xian swept a glance at Huangfu clan and the rest and spat out a word coldly, "Get lost." The next moment, Emperor Jin led the three of them and left without stopping. Star. Chapter 1897. The battle plain was immersed in dead silence. Yiqing Luo stretched her waist as her slender brows rose slightly, as she swept a glance at Dmo Xian with a smile which didn't look like a smile. Her two fair and tender little hands climbed onto his face. Yiqing Luo's pink lips curled into a charming smile. "My protector, the person has already been saved, tell me. How do we break the array?" Dmo Xian held on to the little hand which was pinching his face, as he knew the anger under her smile. He sighed lightly as he grabbed her hand and placed it by his lips, giving a light kiss. "If you want to break it, I can do it any time." Yiqing Luo's smile became even more radiant, but she withdrew her hand from his lips. The atmosphere was a little strange. On the other side, Qiao Jin's golden eyes were filled with a complicated expression as he looked at Dmo Xian, as though he was trying to guess something. But when Dmo Xian inadvertently glanced over and fixed his gaze on him, Qiao Jin suddenly felt a chill in his heart. His eyes flickered slightly, as though he understood something. He immediately hid away the complicated deep meaning in his eyes, as he lowered his eyelids and hugged the lady in his arms tightly. "Qing Luo." His voice broke the strange atmosphere. He hugged Yan Xiaoyi as he walked towards Yiqing Luo, as his face turned pale. "You're too rash. Huangfu family's power is something you can't imagine. Moreover, those arrogant imperial elders are so narrow-minded, they will not let you off." He raised his eyes and took a look at Dmo Xian as he pursed his lips. "Even if the overlord is here today, but the overlord can't possibly be by your side all the time. If Huangfu family wants to make a move, I'm afraid even the entire imperial palace will not be able to protect you." Qiao Jin had grown up in Huangfu family since young. He knew everything about Huangfu family like the back of his hand. That seemingly noble and powerful family. Just how dirty and disgusting was it behind the scenes? Especially those 5 sanctimonious imperial elders, each more sinister and treacherous than the other. Yiqing Luo had humiliated the golden imperial elders today. And humiliated the 3 Huangfu family members. Huangfu family would definitely not let Yiqing Luo off easily. Yiqing Luo struggled her arm. Dmo Xian released the hand which was around her waist. Breaking away from the man's restraint, Yiqing Luo slowly walked towards Qiao Jin. He was only 2 steps away from Qiao Jin. She stood still, and the corners of her mouth curled into a wicked and arrogant smile. That pair of enchanting and bewitching eyes flashed with nobility and elegance that made people look up to her. "Jin, I've said this before. No matter who it is, those who offend me will be killed no matter how far away they are. So what if it's the upper realm, one of the 4 heavenly clans of the heaven realm?" Her tone was calm. Chapter 1898. Bam! A loud sound was heard. Yiqing Luo's finger knocked hard on Qiao Jin's forehead. That strength was obvious just from the sound alone. Yiqing Luo absolutely did not show any mercy. Lil Luo, Dmo Xian's brows creased as he immediately held Yiqing Luo's finger as his expression sunk. Qiao Jin hugged his head in pain as tears welled up in his eyes. A pair of golden eyes looked at Dmo Xian with an extremely aggrieved look. Right, Overlord, quickly teach this violent woman a lesson. If he didn't restrain her. In the future when they got married, the news of Overlord's suffering from domestic violence would spread throughout the entire Nirvana realm. However, Qiao Jin only saw Dmo Xian holding Yiqing Luo's hand gently. His slender fingers touched the finger which she used to knock Qiao Jin's forehead earlier. If you want to hit him, just use any fellow to hit him. Why do you need to do it yourself? What if your finger hurts from knocking? Qiao Jin. Was there any justice in this world? Qiao Jin's heart was filled with grief and indignation as he resisted the urge to condemn Dmo Xian and Yiqing Luo for abusing the dog. Suddenly, a hand gently pressed on the place where he was knocked by Yiqing Luo earlier. A soft little hand, carrying a lady's fragrance. Qiao Jin's heart inexplicably turned soft. Does it still hurt? Yan Xiaoyi rubbed his forehead as her fingertips were gentle, as though she was afraid that she would hurt him. That little hand was like a feather, rubbing around his heart. Qiao Jin's heart melted a little. A broad palm held Yan Xiaoyi's hand tightly. I don't feel pain. The man's palm temperature was scorching hot. It also scorched Yan Xiaoyi's hand. Yan Xiaoyi's beautiful eyes flashed as she immediately retracted her hand. Sorry. Qiao Jin subconsciously wanted to grab it, but his hand stretched out halfway as he thought of something. His hand froze in mid-air and finally retracted back bit by bit. He shut his eyes as he suppressed the restlessness in his heart. When Yiqing Luo saw this, her lips twitched a few times. This Qiao Jin, what on earth was his brain thinking about? Xiao Yi had already done this much. If he was a man, shouldn't he take this opportunity to express his feelings? Why was he still acting coy? What was he trying to do? Earlier, Elder Jin had tried several times to get Qiao Jin to bring Yan Xiaoyi back to Huangfu family but was rejected by Qiao Jin, which Yiqing Luo had witnessed. There was only one word in her heart to describe her feelings at that time. Damn. Shit. This kind of melodramatic plot was happening right in front of her eyes. What's more, the female lead was her best friend. At that time, Yiqing Luo's heart felt as though there were 10,000 bulls galloping around. Now, Qiao Jin still had a look of enduring love. Yiqing Luo's impatient character couldn't wait to knead the both of them into a ball and settle the matter directly. Yiqing Luo took a deep breath and calmed her impatient heart. Soon after, she fixed her gaze on Qiao Jin and said in a calm voice, Qiao Jin, if you're still a man, then sort out your own feelings. Don't force your own thoughts onto others. Just because you think something is good doesn't mean it's really good. You're always worrying about whether you'll be a burden in the future, hurting others, hurting yourself, and in the end, you'll be alone for the rest of your life, regretting it for the rest of your life. She intentionally emphasized on the word her, as though she was referring to something. When Qiao Jin heard that, his body tensed up, as though he was moved by Yiqing Luo's words. Yiqing Luo continued, one should live in the present and live well every single day today. If you're worrying about tomorrow every day, then tomorrow after tomorrow, how tired would you be living? Chapter 1899. Qiao Jin's mind kept reverberating with Yiqing Luo's words. His throat was dry and after spitting out a word, he didn't say anything else. Yiqing Luo's words were right. He was indeed a waste. So useless that he didn't even dare to grab his own future. In his mind, Yan Xiaoyi's hurt expression surfaced. Yan Xiaoyi looked at him, her eyes were filled with pain. Yan Xiaoyi was exhausted, as though she had lost all hope towards this relationship. But at the next moment, Qiao Jin recalled these 2 days. Yan Xiaoyi kept on brainwashing him, saying that she liked him, loved him and didn't want to leave him. She was such a proud lady. But she put down her status, under the situation where he didn't respond. She kept repeating her feelings over and over again, as though she wanted to tell him all her love. Qiao Jin's heart suddenly twitched fiercely. A dull pain struck his entire body. He thought that he was doing it for her good. But in actual fact, he hurt her deeply. He had been worrying for nothing and had imposed his own thoughts on Yan Xiaoyi. He wanted Yan Xiaoyi to accompany him and suffer from the pain of this relationship. He was really too selfish. Too selfish. In the name of love, he did things that hurt Yan Xiaoyi. He really wasn't fit to be called a man. That old man has almost cleared all the surrounding monsters and the next wave of newborn monsters will probably be 1 hour later. You have 1 hour here to talk things out clearly. Yiqing Luo looked at Qiao Jin's moved expression, as his body was trembling slightly, as she spoke calmly. Feelings, is most afraid of dragging it out. Speaking to this point, Yiqing Luo's voice paused as she squinted her eyes, as a tinge of apprehension surfaced. Lastly, let me give you a piece of advice. You're not Xiaoyi, so what right do you have to make a decision for Xiaoyi? Saying that, she tugged Dmo Xian's sleeve, as she turned around and walked towards the other direction of the battle plane. In this empty space, only Qiao Jin and Yan Xiaoyi were left. Earlier, Yiqing Luo's words were all heard by Yan Xiaoyi. It wasn't that she didn't understand the deep meaning behind Yiqing Luo's words. But she didn't dare to understand, nor did she dare to think too much. Afraid that if she thought too much, it would only make her feel more despair. Looking at Yiqing Luo's departing figure, Yan Xiaoyi instinctively wanted to chase after him. She didn't want to be alone with Qiao Jin. He also didn't want to hear the answer from Qiao Jin's mouth. But Yan Xiaoyi was just about to leave with Yiqing Luo when her wrist was held tightly by his large palm. She was shocked and wanted to break free from his hand. Her evasive attitude made Qiao Jin's handsome brows knit together tightly. He grabbed her wrist forcefully and pulled her into his arms. His powerful arms restrained the woman and pressed her delicate body into his embrace, not giving her any chance to struggle free. You, let go. Yan Xiaoyi pursed her red lips, not daring to look into his eyes. Was he in such a hurry to cut all ties with her? Qiao Jin knew that his previous actions had hurt Yan Xiaoyi's heart, which was why Yan Xiaoyi was against him. But, want to talk to her gently. Yan Xiaoyi didn't have that intention and just wanted to escape. Qiao Jin's heart sunk as he recalled what Yiqing Luo said. He didn't want to make himself regret again. He also didn't want to hurt Yan Xiaoyi again, to make himself suffer, to make Yan Xiaoyi suffer with him. How his future would turn out. It depended on himself, and no one else. Thinking in this way, the decision in Qiao Jin's heart became even firmer. His slender fingers clasped Yan Xiaoyi's lower jaw tightly, forcing her to raise her eyes and meet his gaze. Star. Chapter 1900. Slut Jean. What the hell do you want? Yan Xiaoyi was unable to shift her line of sight, and could only use her beautiful eyes to glare fiercely at him. Her pink cheeks were tainted with a trace of shame and anger. What do you want to say? What do you want to say? I'll listen, I'll listen. The strength of Qiao Jin's fingers slightly lessened. His eyes had already returned to their ink-black color. His deep eyes stared fixedly at Yan Xiaoyi. Looking at her gradually reddening eyes, his heart twitched violently again. In the past, you didn't even know how to be reserved and kept pestering me, saying that you loved me. Now, you're not even willing to talk to me. The Yan Xiaoyi of the past 2 days was even more pitiful. Unexpectedly, this sentence of his made Yan Xiaoyi's eyes redden even more. She bit her red lips and her eyes were filled with a trace of resentment. She stared into Qiao Jin's eyes and said word by word, "Yes, I don't know how to be reserved. Qiao Jin, I just like you. Because I like you, I don't need to be reserved. Are you satisfied now?" Qiao Jin. He was dumbfounded. Did he say something wrong again? Looking at Yan Xiaoyi, who was on the verge of tears, Qiao Jin wished he could slap his own mouth. He hurriedly let go of Yan Xiaoyi's chin and wrapped his arms around her petite body. He frantically tried to explain, sorry. Xiaoyi, I didn't mean it that way." Yan Xiaoyi quietly lowered her head and did not speak. Qiao Jin hurriedly said, "I'm not saying that you don't know how to be reserved. I want to keep you here. Don't go, listen to me." Yan Xiaoyi was still quiet, but her heart was beating faster. Qiao Jin's attitude and tone of voice. It made Yan Xiaoyi feel as though she was in a dream. But she didn't dare to think too much. "Xiaoyi, other than the students of devil class, I've never had any special contact with any girl before, so I don't really know how to coax a girl, and I don't really know how to not treat a girl as my own brother." Little by little, Qiao Jin's words caused Yan Xiaoyi's heart to tremble. She lifted her eyes in shock and looked at Qiao Jin's face in disbelief. He said, "We don't treat each other like brothers." What does that mean? He said he wanted to coax her. Was she dreaming? But when she met Qiao Jin's eyes, that pair of eyes that were usually frivolous were now filled with sincerity. His large palm cupped her little face. "Xiaoyi, didn't I promise you that as long as we can leave this place alive, I will tell you my answer?" Yan Xiaoyi's chest tightened as her heartbeat accelerated. His gaze was fixed on Yi Qing Luo without blinking. "My answer is, Yan Xiaoyi. Towards you, I don't like you." His beating heart suddenly felt as if it had fallen into an icehouse. His heart was throbbing, and in that instant, it suddenly turned cold, so cold that it could pierce through his bones. Yan Xiaoyi's eyes gradually reddened. What else was she hoping for? After a long time, she lowered her eyes, wanting to pry open Qiao Jin's hands. However, he suddenly pressed his lips against hers. His warm, thin lips kissed away the tears at the corner of her eyes. His kiss was extremely gentle, extremely gentle. "Towards you, I don't just like you. I love you. I love you, Yan Xiaoyi." His deep voice, beside her ear, was like a splendid firework blossoming. She was stunned. Because of his gentle kiss, her heart, which was in a daze, seemed to have stopped beating. She almost forgot to breathe. What did he say? He loved her. He loved her. Chapter 1901. Drops of tears rolled down from the corners of her eyes. It was different from the tears just now. These were tears of joy. "Xiaoyi, I'm serious. I really, really love you." When Qiao Jin saw that her tears were gushing out even more fiercely, he raised his hand helplessly and wiped her tears away. He stammered over his feelings for her. From his appearance, it was obvious that he had no experience in the field of relationships. Yan Xiaoyi couldn't help but let out a pft laugh. There were tears in her smile, and her beautiful eyes were filled with joy and sweetness. "Xiaoyi, I'm telling the truth. Don't doubt me." Qiao Jin anxiously held her hand. "From a very, very long time ago, I only had eyes for you, a long time ago." Yan Xiaoyi wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes. "How long ago?" Qiao Jin's ears turned red. It's just that a long time ago, when I first saw you in the devil class, I fell in love with you." Yan Xiaoyi laughed, love at first sight. N. Xiao Jin nodded vigorously. Actually, Xiao Jin himself did not dare to believe that he would fall in love at first sight with a woman from the lower realms. But it was that one glance, Yan Xiaoyi's figure, her smile and her frown, that had been deeply engraved in her heart. Xiao Jin tightened his arms around Yan Xiaoyi's slender waist. Xiaoyi, I'm sorry. I've always loved you, but I used that as an excuse to hurt you. Yan Xiaoyi's teary eyes were filled with sweet happiness. However, after hearing Xiao Jin's words, a cunning look flashed across her eyes as she pushed his chest forcefully. I don't believe you. Xiao Jin instantly panicked. Really? I really liked you from the beginning. Then why, even though it was love at first sight, you refused to tell me? Even when I threw away my reservations and took the initiative to tell you my feelings, you still refused me. The delicate Yan Xiaoyi, at this moment in front of the man she loved, was like the girl next door. At this moment, Yan Xiaoyi understood clearly why the usually arrogant Yi Qing Luo, in front of Dmo Xian, would behave like a lady. She was like this now. Yan Xiaoyi did not intend to let Xiao Jin win the beauty so easily. If it wasn't for Yi Qing Luo's words, which woke Xiao Jin up, wouldn't she be left behind by Xiao Jin for a period of time? Wasn't she going to be depressed because of Xiao Jin's rejection? Thinking up to here, anger surfaced on Yan Xiaoyi's face. Xiao Jin trembled with fear as he watched, and immediately explained in a warm voice, "You have also seen it, my clan. I am not someone from the Nirvana realm. In the future, I will definitely head to the Heaven realm and become the successor of the Huangfu clan." At this point, his expression dimmed a little. I have no interest in the Huangfu clan, but the inheritance of the Huangfu clan is this pair of golden eyes. I'm the only one in the Huangfu clan who has both golden eyes. Only the inheritor of the Huangfu clan recognized by ancestor Huangfu will have two golden eyes. Yan Xiaoyi's anger dissipated a little. She reached out and wrapped her arms around his waist. Is it because of your identity and your family that you keep rejecting me? The Heaven realm was a place she could only look up to. If Xiao Jin returned to the Huangfu clan and inherited the Huangfu clan, then she and Xiao Jin would be separated by several planes, unable to meet each other again. Yes. Xiao Jin buried his head on her shoulder. I'm afraid that after we're together, if I have to leave you, you will be in even more pain. Star. Chapter 1902. There's another very important point. I'm afraid that because of me, you will meet with misfortune. Xiao Jin's voice was somewhat low and gloomy. I'm an inauspicious person. In the Huangfu family, everyone sees me as a plague and can't wait to keep a distance from me. If I didn't have a pair of golden eyes recognized by my ancestors, I'm afraid I wouldn't have lived until now. There was a hint of bitterness in his tone. Who didn't wish to have family? However, his extravagant wish would forever remain an extravagant wish. On the day I was born, my father died in an accident in the study. My mother also bled heavily to give birth to me. Her body was so weak that she could only spend the rest of her days in bed. My mother had a lowly status and had always been ostracized in the Huangfu family. If it wasn't for me, my mother wouldn't have stayed in the Huangfu family, and she wouldn't have become like this. At the mention of his mother, Xiao Jin's tone was full of guilt and sorrow. He tightened his arms and deeply inhaled the woman's fragrance. She was the only one who could calm his restless heart. It was the first time she heard Xiao Jin talk about his family. Yan Xiaoyi's heart was exceptionally heavy. Especially when she heard his bitter laughter. Her heart ached even more. Those people from the Huangfu family are vicious and merciless. They have always hated my existence and don't want me to appear in the Huangfu family and become the heir. If they know that I have a lover in the lower realm, they will definitely attack you in order to control me or deal with me. Qiao Jin's body trembled slightly. It was as if he couldn't imagine that scene. Yan Xiaoyi's throat tightened. She gently hugged his head. Just now, when Elder Jin asked you to bring me back to the Huangfu family, you refused. Was it actually to protect me? Yes. Qiao Jin rubbed her delicate shoulder. I don't want you to be in danger because of me. You're really stupid. Yan Xiaoyi pursed her red lips speechlessly. From your behavior just now, anyone can see that you value me very much, okay? Do you really think that Elder Jin won't attack me because of your refusal? The hand that was hugging his head couldn't help but knock on his head. Rather than leaving me alone in the lower realm, why not bring me with you, at least in front of your eyes? Only when you see it with your own eyes can you be truly safe. Qiao Jin was startled, suddenly lifting his messy head from the rubbing of her palms. Yan Xiaoyi was right. Clearly, Elder Jin had seen through his lies just now. No matter how much he tried to distance himself from Yan Xiaoyi, no matter how cold he treated Yan Xiaoyi. However, with Emperor Jin's temperament, he would rather kill the wrong person than let him off. How could he let go of Yan Xiaoyi, who had fought alongside him? He was too worried about Yan Xiaoyi. Instead, he neglected the others. Don't you know, you thought you were doing it for my own good, but not only did you push me to a more dangerous place, you also. Yan Xiaoyi pursed her lips, looking like she was about to cry. You broke my heart. Xiaoyi, don't cry, don't cry. Qiao Jin instantly panicked, his eyes filled with panic and helplessness. He reached out to wipe Yan Xiaoyi's face. I know I was wrong. I now know that I was wrong. If you're upset, then hit me. I'll hit you until you're appeased, okay? Don't you know, what you said to Elder Jin really made me want to give up on you. Yan Xiaoyi's beautiful reddened eyes stared deeply at Qiao Jin. Star. Chapter 1903. Qiao Jin grabbed her little hand and blew on his face. It's all my fault, my mind isn't clear and I've made the wrong decision. Yan Xiaoyi's little hand was grabbed by him. She kept on pounding on his face with force. Towards this, Yan Xiaoyi expressed her extreme helplessness. Her lips twitched a few times as she forcefully retracted her hand from his hand. Qiao Jin was stunned, thinking that Yan Xiaoyi wasn't willing to forgive him as a sliver of nervousness and cautiousness surfaced on his face. His jet-black eyes looked at Yan Xiaoyi carefully. This look made Yan Xiaoyi not know whether to laugh or cry. Did she look that fierce? Was her temper that big? She only wanted to throw a tantrum, to grumble and complain about Qiao Jin, at least to get back all the disheartened feelings that she had suffered in Qiao Jin's hands. Who knew that Qiao Jin would be so anxious? Yan Xiaoyi's little hand circled around his waist as she pinched his tight waist fiercely as she complained helplessly, I really don't know what's going on in your mind. Thinking of you. Qiao Jin buried his head on her shoulder as his words were unclear, my mind is filled with you. Yan Xiaoyi's cheeks flushed red. When did he become so glib-tongued? He actually knew how to say such words to make her happy. Although she had been flirted with. But Yan Xiaoyi tried her best to maintain her rationality. In order not to be angered by Qiao Jin's stupidity in the future. Yan Xiaoyi expressed that she must untie the knot in Qiao Jin's heart. Hence, Yan Xiaoyi's fingers which were pinching Qiao Jin's waist became even more forceful as her beautiful eyes were filled with a sliver of anger. Humph. It's too late to say nice things now. Slut Jin, Qing Luo is right about one thing, on what basis do you have to make decisions for me? Qiao Jin gave a light hiss as he drew in a breath of cold air in pain. But he obediently accepted Yan Xiaoyi's caress without struggling. Yan Xiaoyi saw his face turning pale from the pain. Qiao Jin didn't cry out in pain, but she herself was the one who started to feel heartache. In her heart, she secretly tested the love she had for Qiao Jin. Her hand changed to hammering his chest as she angrily rebuked, "You said that you fell in love with me at first sight, but because you were afraid of being separated, you didn't dare to be with me. Now, let me tell you, I'm not afraid. Not being able to be with you is what I'm most afraid of. Since you like me so much that you want to give up on me, then why do you think that I can't choose to wait for you or follow you to the heaven realm and the Huangfu clan because I like you?" Qiao Jin lowered his head. Yan Shaoyi's slender fingers fiercely poked his chest. "You are the successor of the Huangfu clan. In the future, when you return to the heaven realm, you will also become the patriarch of the Huangfu clan. At that time, the Huangfu clan will be in your hands." Chapter 1904. Lucky? Was he really? His mother's look. "Because you're the only one left. As the successor's mother, you will receive the best care, isn't that so?" Yan Shaoyi raised her hand and brushed past his stunned face. "Moreover, it's because you're around that she can work hard to live on just for you." Her fingers were very gentle. Smoothed out his frowning brows. And smoothed out the knot in his heart. "It's you, who prolonged your mother's life, and also prolonged my life." When Yan Shaoyi said the last sentence, her cheeks blushed slightly. Her eyelashes fluttered as she unnaturally shifted her gaze away and coughed lightly as she continued, "So I say, you're not some unlucky person. Otherwise Devil Class's students wouldn't have today's transformation, and we wouldn't have met Qing Luo." Qiao Jin's murky and complicated heart, at this moment, suddenly became extremely clear. He seemed to have seen a ray of light through the endless darkness. His heart was suddenly enlightened. "Shaoyi, thank you." Qiao Jin hugged Yan Shaoyi fiercely. If it wasn't for Qing Luo's words, he would have woken up. He really didn't know how long he would miss Yan Shaoyi again. The woman he loved so deeply. How could he bear to push her away time and time again? He was really so silly, so silly. Qiao Jin's large palm suddenly cupped Yan Shaoyi's face. His jet black eyes gazed deeply at Yan Shaoyi, as though he wanted to imprint her face deeply into his heart. "Shaoyi, in the past, it's all because I'm too silly. My self-righteousness made you sad, made you sad." His fingers, bit by bit, caressed Yan Shaoyi's face. His gaze was tender, as though water could be squeezed out of it. "I will use my entire life to repay you." His words landed. He had already bent down and kissed her lips. It was different from before, when his emotions were unstable, the overbearing kiss. But he didn't conceal his feelings at all, that kind of deep and sincere kiss. As though he wanted to use this kiss to convey all his feelings. For the rest of his life, he would accompany Yan Shaoyi by her side, loving her and not letting go. The future was grasped in his own hands. As long as he was together with Yan Shaoyi. No matter what accident, he would not be worried or afraid. For Yan Shaoyi, for their future. He would do everything in his power to protect her. Yan Shaoyi's eyelashes fluttered as she closed her eyes, enduring the man's gentle kiss. Tears of happiness overflowed from the corners of her eyes. She had finally connected with Qiao Jin. Finally, she could openly fall in love with Qiao Jin. They were finally together. Another nothingness in the battle plain. Yiqing Luo raised her brows frivolously as she looked at Dmo Xian with a smile that didn't look like a smile. She didn't say anything. But from her posture, it was obvious that she was telling Dmo Xian, "Whatever things you've hidden from me, you better tell me everything obediently. Be honest and lenient, resist and be strict." Dmo Xian looked at the young lady's expression and sighed helplessly. He knew that if he appeared in front of the Huangfu clan today, he would definitely die. His identity would definitely be suspected by Yiqing Luo. although this would not affect the relationship between him and Lil Luo, But this feeling of being concealed. Lil Luo would definitely not like it. Dmo Xian stretched out his arms towards her. The girl was obedient and snuggled into his arms. Her arms encircled his waist as her chin rested on his chest, raising her head to look at him. The crafty look between her brows was obvious. It was still that smile which didn't look like a smile. There was a kind of feeling that if she didn't get the answer, she would not give up. Chapter 1905. Yiqing Luo's eyes flashed. No. She had indeed guessed this answer before. Dmo Xian's ability had completely surpassed the standard of Nirvana Realm's cultivators. His existence could be said to have broken the balance of Nirvana Realm. But Dmo Xian rarely made a move. The only few times he made a move were all for her. But if Dmo Xian was really someone from the upper realm, staying in the lower realm for such a long time and being so high profile, wouldn't he be forcefully ordered to return to his own realm by the envoy who maintained the peace of the various realms? Like Qiao Jin, his heaven realm's heir, came down to the lower realm and even knew to hide himself like an ordinary person. Dmo Xian's high profile was something that everyone in the Nirvana realm knew about. To be able to make the heaven realm's imperial elders fearful, and wantonly run amok in the lower realm. What was Dmo Xian's identity? Lil Luo, listen to me. Dmo Xian pinched her chin as his slender fingers caressed her tender lips. Her charming eyes met with his ink-black eyes. Yiqing Luo saw the seriousness in his eyes and a trace of complicated emotions that she couldn't understand. It's not that I'm unwilling to tell you everything about me. On the contrary, I hope that you can understand everything about me. Dmo Xian's fingers were very light as he fiddled with her pink lips, as though he was igniting a fire on her lips. But Yiqing Luo didn't sense any feelings from Dmo Xian at all. And there was a kind of unprecedented seriousness. Her heart trembled slightly, and her long, curly eyelashes were also trembling. In the future, I will tell you everything about me clearly, okay? Dmo Xian's fiddling fingers stopped. His gaze was filled with seriousness as he gazed deeply at Yiqing Luo. Indeed. He still couldn't say it out. Yiqing Luo's eyelashes drooped slightly. It would be a lie if she said she wasn't upset. But she also knew that Dmo Xian didn't say it was for her own good. There were too many existences in this different realm which exceeded her knowledge. If he were to pour everything into her mind right now, it would be too late. She probably wouldn't be able to digest it. No matter if he was the Imperial Palace's Dmo Xian or the overlord whom the Heaven Realm's Tian family feared. He was her and only Xian. There was no doubt about this. Since Dmo Xian did not wish to reveal his identity, he definitely had his own considerations. He was worried that she would suffer more than she could handle at her current level. However, her self-adjustment, in Dmo Xian's eyes, had become, she was heartbroken that he had concealed his identity. Immediately, Dmo Xian panicked. In his peach blossom eyes, there was a trace of nervousness. Lil Luo, don't stay silent. His hand cupped her face. His fingertips trembled slightly, carrying a hint of probing. When he realized that Yiqing Luo didn't stop him from touching her, he slowly heaved a sigh of relief as his large palm touched her face even more. Looking at Dmo Xian's anxious expression, Yiqing Luo was about to open her mouth to explain but swallowed it back into her stomach. A trace of craftiness flashed past her long and narrow eyes. The calm expression on her face immediately converged and turned into a look of suppressed anger. Looking at Dmo Xian, her voice trembled slightly. Dmo Xian, what do you want me to say? She raised her eyes and her eyes reddened. She pursed her pink lips tightly as she spat out every single word. Don't tell me you want to hear me say that I know you're not telling me is for my own good? You don't wish for me to suffer any harm and you don't wish for me to be afraid of your identity and leave you? Star. Chapter 1906. Dmo Xian, who had always used his aura to make others speechless, was stuttering at this moment. Facing Yi Qing Luo, he naturally didn't dare to use his so-called aura to suppress her. He could only coax and spoil her, wishing that he could hold her in his palms and love her dearly. What Yi Qing Luo said had indeed poked out all the worries in his heart. It wasn't that he couldn't tell Yi Qing Luo about his identity. He just didn't wish for Yi Qing Luo to be troubled or make any changes because of his identity. What he was most afraid of. It was the last point that Yi Qing Luo mentioned. She would be afraid of his identity and leave him. Of course, he believed that Yi Qing Luo wouldn't be afraid of him because of his identity. But she would leave him. This wasn't to say that Yi Qing Luo was someone who would escape when she met with danger. But he understood Yi Qing Luo's character too well. If Yi Qing Luo knew his identity, she would definitely force herself to become stronger. She would leave him, and when she had grown to a level that was compatible with him, then she would appear again. Dmo Xian couldn't stand a day without Yi Qing Luo. But when he saw Yi Qing Luo's eyes turning red, staring at him with a reproachful gaze, Dmo Xian's heart was throbbing in pain. This was the first time he had such an uneasy feeling. This was the first time he had such a feeling of worry. Lil Luo, I don't mean it in that way, if you want to know, A burst of laughter interrupted Dmo Xian's anxious voice. He was stunned as he stopped his voice, looking at Yi Qing Luo's smiling face. The young lady's tensed face had softened at this moment. Her curved eyes, narrow and devilish, sparkling with a dazzling luster. She was smiling, bright and gorgeous, a beauty that could topple a city. Dmo Xian knew that he had been teased by Yi Qing Luo again. Yi Qing Luo laughed as she laid in his arms. Idiot, those words were indeed what I wanted to say. What words? Dmo Xian's brows creased slightly as he hadn't reacted in time. His reaction made Yi Qing Luo laugh even more joyfully. I know the current me, not knowing your identity, is much safer, and I won't let my imagination run wild because of this. She paused for a moment and her arms wrapped around his neck as she beamed and said, It doesn't matter if you don't say it. You just have to remember one sentence, no matter who you are my, Yi Qing Luo's man, so I will absolutely not leave you. Dmo Xian knew her. How could she not see through Dmo Xian's hidden worries? Since she had decided to be with Dmo Xian, she absolutely did not want any negative emotions or worries to appear between the two of them. She would never leave Dmo Xian. No matter when. Lil Luo, The young lady's sonorous and forceful words, each and every word, struck heavily on Dmo Xian's heart. The worry he had been feeling all this time vanished in an instant. He tightened his arms around the girl in his embrace. But Xian, when I am strong enough, you must personally tell me everything about yourself. Yi Qing Luo's brows rose overbearingly as she looked at his eyes seriously. Dmo Xian's eyes were filled with smiles as he spat out a word, all right. I still want to go to the place where you grew up, to understand everything about you. Her identity as a transmigrator, as well as the secret of the 21st century where she grew up, had already been told to him. By then, she wanted Dmo Xian to tell her everything, just like how she told him everything about herself today. Star. Chapter 1907. Looking at the young lady's beautiful face, it was filled with a complacent and overbearing expression. Dmo Xian's heart seemed to have been filled by her smile. The lines on his face were so gentle that there was no trace of harshness or coldness. It was filled with pampering and love towards the young lady. He nodded and his voice was extremely gentle. All right. No matter if it was this lifetime or the next lifetime, he would never let go of her. She would belong to him forever and ever. So, until then, he would let Yiqing Luo understand everything about him in detail, including on the bed. After getting Dmo Xian's reply, Yiqing Luo leaned towards his face and planted a big fragrant kiss. Following that, she opened her arms and hugged his muscular body, acting coquettishly in his arms. You're obedient, I'll forgive you for hiding it from me now. She pressed her face against his hard pecs again. She mumbled a few words indistinctly. After all, before this, I had also concealed my identity as a transmigrated girl. If it wasn't for the fact that I had entered the godless array, I don't know how long I would have to hide it. Same to you. The young lady's coquettish action made Dmo Xian's mood improve greatly. He rubbed the young lady's hair, his heart filled with tenderness. This was the lady whom he had his eyes on. Indeed, like what Yiqing Luo had guessed, approximately 1 hour later, large batches of monsters were born on the battle plane. The minute those monsters appeared, they started to tangle with the surrounding monsters. There were even quite a number of monsters, who directly found the 4 humans who were still on the battle plane. 2 pairs of passionate lovers, lost the place to talk about love. After the 4 of them killed the monsters which were blocking their way, they gathered together again. Yiqing Luo looked at Yan Xiaoyi and Qiao Jin's tightly intertwined hands, as she gave an ambiguous smile. Yan Xiaoyi was so shy that her face turned crimson red, as she leaned her head towards Qiao Jin's shoulder. Qiao Jin chuckled as he touched the back of his head, with a face full of smiles. Qing Luo, thank you. Thank you for reminding me. If it wasn't for you, I would definitely have done more wrong things. Yiqing Luo smiled with her eyes curved. I won't. Ah. Qiao Jin didn't react to Yiqing Luo's words. Even if I didn't remind you, you wouldn't do anything stupid. Yiqing Luo revealed her pearly white teeth as she clenched her fists so hard that a cracking sound could be heard, because I will directly wake you up. Qiao Jin's neck shrunk back as he recalled that when Elder Jin was still around, Yiqing Luo had once said that she wanted to give him a good thrashing, and he instantly became terrified. I've completely woken up now. This thrashing. I don't need to take it, right? That's hard to say. Yiqing Luo smiled insincerely as her eyes curved. Chapter 1908. Yiqing Luo's bright eyes flashed as her face revealed a scared expression as she threw herself into Dmo Xian's arms. Oh my, so scary, the pair of love-struck couples. The fake acting made Yan Xiaoyi's lips twitched uncontrollably. Even showing off their affection wasn't like this, right? Before today, she had been suppressing the feeling of liking Qiao Jin, suppressing the fact that after being abused by Qiao Jin, she still had to eat Yiqing Luo and Dmo Xian's various fancy dog food. Was it easy for her? Today she finally managed to pull Qiao Jin along to show off in front of Yiqing Luo. Yiqing Luo just retaliated like this. Can't we just play around happily? Could they still be sisters happily? Yan Xiaoyi gritted her teeth in anger. But unfortunately, Dmo Xian was very cooperative as he stretched out his hand to hug Yiqing Luo and even patted her back gently. Don't be afraid, I'm here. A certain love-struck couple was speechless. Could they also use dog food to retaliate? The thousands of monsters around them howled in unison. Dmo Xian narrowed his peach blossom eyes as he swept his sleeve slightly. A burst of powerful profound energy covered the sky and earth as it enveloped the entire empty space. In an instant, the empty space regained its tranquility. Those thousands of monsters seemed as though they had never appeared before, not even a single speck of ashes could be seen. A certain love-struck couple was dumbstruck. Yiqing Luo's lips curled as she circled around the man's neck and planted a kiss on his face. God of protection is the best. Awesome, a certain love-struck couple. Damn it. They would stop showing off their affection in future, all right. The dog food and whatnot would be taken care of by the two of you, alright? Acting cute and showing off dog food was enough. Yiqing Luo restrained her actions as she looked at Dmo Xian seriously. Ah Xian, let's break the array. We've disappeared for a few days and that bunch of kids in devil class are probably going crazy from anxiety. Dmo Xian rubbed her hair as his expression was calm. Don't worry, even if we didn't make a move to break the array, that person should be letting us out. That person. Yiqing Luo raised her eyes in puzzlement. You're talking about Shi Shanglan. No, it should be Godless Island's young master. Dmo Xian only smiled and didn't answer Yiqing Luo's question. Yiqing Luo automatically treated that person as the fake Shi Shanglan. Shi Shanglan spent a lot of effort to lure them into the soulless formation. How could he let them out so easily? She could tell that Shi Shanglan was pretending to be Shi Shanglan, using the identity of Yan Xiaoyi's fiancé to get close to her and the devil class. Their goal was definitely not simple. He had his ambitions. If he didn't get what he wanted, Shi Shanglan would not give up so easily. Chapter 1909. In the time it took for a spark to fly off a flint, that tear opened wider and wider. The entire battle plane seemed as though it was about to be torn apart, squeezing into other planes. In a split second, the tear had already opened up to a width of about 5 meters. Not only Yan Xiaoyi and Qiao Jin were stunned. Yiqing Luo herself was also stunned. She looked at that tear in disbelief as she asked in a daze, Ah Xian, what is that? This plane, is it really going to collapse? Dmo Xian replied calmly, aren't you in a hurry to get out? This is the way to force him to open the entrance of the godless array. Yiqing Luo blinked her eyes, feeling a little lost. Qiao Jin explained by the side, I've once read about the godless array in Huangfu family's books. It said that the godless array is able to connect to all the planes in the world, and is a forbidden array which is not accepted by the world. Once one of the planes merges with another plane, it would break the balance between the various planes. The person who unleashed the array will be punished by the heavenly way, dying without a burial ground, never to be reincarnated. Yiqing Luo understood as she raised her brows and smiled, which means to say, Ah Xian is forcefully tearing the battle plane apart now. Once the planes near the battle plane merges with the battle plane, when the battle plane's monsters start to reproduce again, this group of monsters will also affect the nearby planes, causing chaos. At this time, the Shi Shanglan, who unleashed the array, will be punished by the heavenly way. Qiao Jin nodded, that's what I mean. Yiqing Luo couldn't help but laughed out, Xian, your method is really simple and crude, but I like it. Shi Shanglan dared to scheme against her. Then he would have to bear the consequences of their retaliation. Sure enough, when the tear gradually opened to about a dozen meters or so, Yishuan's eyes widened. Shi Shanglan finally couldn't bear the fear of being punished by the heavenly way. An intense ray of light shot down from the top of the battle plane. Following that, they saw that elegant young man standing at the center of the light, looking at them with a gloomy face. Stop. All of you stop right now. Shi Shanglan was no longer as gentle as before. His expression was ferocious as he pointed at them agitatedly and roared, this is a formation that I created. If you dare to touch this formation, I will kill all of you in this formation. At this moment, he still wanted to scare Yiqing Luo and the others. Yiqing Luo raised her head and looked at the ashen-faced man with a thin layer of sweat on his forehead. She leaned lazily in Dmo Xian's arms and smiled charmingly, really? Why don't we try and see who dies first? Yiqing Luo. Shi Shanglan gritted his teeth and roared. Yiqing Luo picked her ears as her brows raised frivolously. Are you relying on sound to make us die in the array? Puchi, Yan Xiaoyi and Qiao Jin laughed out loud. Shi Shanglan's face was ashen. He could not imagine that his invincible godly array was actually unable to tame Yiqing Luo and Dmo Xian. The so-called heart attack formation I had not only failed to take down Yiqing Luo and Dmo Xian. On the contrary, it was taken down by Yiqing Luo. What's more, his father had already sent news over, ordering him to immediately open up the entrance of the array and let Yiqing Luo out safely. His father already knew about the matter of him using Godless Island's forbidden arts for himself. And his plan for the array had also failed. Not only had it failed, he had even offended the imperial palace, an overlord whom even his father was wary of. Chapter 1910. His father would never let him off. Everything he had was ruined, he had painstakingly planned for such a long time. He had even tried to get close to that bunch of trash in devil class. In the end, it had ended up in such a state. How could he take it lying down? The ferocious face of Shi Shanglan was extremely terrifying. He gritted his teeth and glared at the huge hole that had been torn open. He said sternly, "Do you think that you can force me to let you out by using such a method? Don't even think about it." "Young master." Wu Sha's voice was heard faintly, "Island master's orders cannot be violated. If you continue to wait, you will be punished by the heavens." "Shut up." Shi Shanglan berated, "Even if I die, I will drag them along with me." Using the godless array without permission had already violated the Godless Island's rules. Even if he really opened up the entrance and let Yiqing Luo and the rest out, his father would never let him off so easily. In any case, everything that he had been pursuing had been destroyed. It was completely destroyed. Death was all that awaited him. Then he would bring these people along with him to hell. "Young master, are you crazy?" When Wu Sha heard his young master's crazy words, he immediately rushed up and hugged Shi Shanglan's waist. "How could the island master let you die? You are the island master's favorite young master. If you die, are you going to hand over the position of young master to someone else?" Wu Sha's words made Shi Shanglan's struggling body suddenly stiffened. His eyes widened, filled with panic. He didn't want to. How could he bear to hand over the position of young master to someone else? In order to become the island master of Godless Island, he didn't hesitate to use up his own lifespan to forcibly display the godless array. How could he be willing to give it up to those sanctimonious hypocrites? Just as Shi Shanglan and Wu Sha were arguing endlessly, suddenly there was a vibration from that opening. Suddenly, he saw a figure walk in from the entrance. Yiqing Luo saw that person and smiled with raised brows. "Yu Ming, you're just in time. Are you waiting for the right time?" Yu Ming slowly walked to Yiqing Luo's side with a calm expression. Facing Yiqing Luo's ridicule, there was no reaction. He lowered his head, feeling depressed. No one knew if he was thinking or if he was annoyed that the search missile couldn't find what he wanted. It was because of Netherwoman's attitude that he was bitterly disappointed. These were not within the boundaries of Yiqing Luo's concern. Since he didn't say, Yiqing Luo couldn't be bothered. Of course, the prerequisite was that he wouldn't have any ideas about her again. This episode made Shi Shanglan realize the severity of the situation. Wu Sha was right. Even if he violated the rules of the Godless Island, as long as he was still the young master of the Godless Island, his father would not punish him severely. If he was really punished by the heavenly Tao because of the godless array, he would never be able to reincarnate. He would really lose more than he gained. Especially when he saw that someone had entered the battle plane through the tear. Shi Shanglan completely panicked. In the blink of an eye, the beam of light floating in the void covered the tear in the void. The entrance appeared before everyone's eyes. Dmo Xian seemed to be asking for credit as he lowered his head and stuck close to her ear as he whispered, "The entrance is out." Yiqing Luo decisively smoothed his hair and kissed his face, "My guardian god is the best." Dmo Xian was satisfied. The few of them slowly stepped out of that beam of light. It was as if they had entered the godless array for a tour, taking a stroll around. The group of people were unscathed. Just like that, he calmly walked past Shi Shanglan. Star. Chapter 1911. At the same time, the battle plane, which had already cracked open for nearly 20 meters, was gradually closing up. Following that, the godless array's entrance light was also completely shut at this moment. Shi Shanglan's entire body turned soft as he laid paralyzed on the ground. His eyes stared deadly at Yiqing Luo. Wu Sha immediately protected Shi Shanglan with a stern expression. However, after Yiqing Luo and the rest walked out, they didn't even give them half a glance as they directly walked past them and slowly walked out of the secret room. Just as they were nearing the secret room's exit, Dmo Xian halted his footsteps as he glanced sideways. That pair of brilliant peach blossom eyes revealed a piercingly cold glint. Wu Sha felt a chill running down his spine as his legs turned soft as he half knelt onto the ground. "Convey to your island lord, regarding today's matter, I will personally pay a visit to discuss with him in detail." Saying that, he hugged the young lady in his arms tightly as he walked out of the secret room without turning back, leaving behind two people who were half kneeling on the ground as they broke out in cold sweat. The place where Yiqing Luo and the rest were at was exactly the place where they entered the array. Yiqing Luo had already drawn out the map of the treasure-gathering pavilion in her mind. After a moment, she brought the few of them out of the secret room and returned to the extremely remote sundry room in the treasure-gathering pavilion. There were usually very few people who passed by the sundry room. However, when the few of them just came out from the sundry room, coincidentally, a team of 10 people who were dressed in the guard's uniform walked towards them. When that guard saw Yiqing Luo, his face instantly revealed an overjoyed expression as he shouted at the top of his voice, "Found it, found it. Madam Yiqing Luo has found it." This howl was heard by Yiqing Luo acutely. Numerous footsteps, blotting out the sky and covering the earth as they surged towards their direction. Momentarily, the entire ground was filled with dust as it floated along with the wind. Immediately following that, she saw a huge wave of people, charging towards them in an imposing manner. Weren't the siblings Shiruo Yu and Shiruo Shi right at the front? Following closely behind was Tong Ziqin, Long Yunzhan and the rest. What situation was this? Yiqing Luo and the rest had a dazed expression. Shiruo Shi had already pounced into Yiqing Luo's arms as she hugged her tightly. "Sister. You're finally back." "Boo-hoo, I thought I lost you." Shiruo Shi sounded like she was about to cry. Her tearful and hazy appearance was very lovable. Yiqing Luo immediately stretched out her fingers and brushed away the tears on Shiruo Shi's face. "What's wrong?" As he spoke, Shiruo Yu, Long Yunzhan, and the others stepped forward. Their gazes started to size up Yiqing Luo. He heaved a sigh of relief after confirming that she had no external injuries. Shiruo Yu's face was filled with guilt. "It's all because I didn't manage the treasure-gathering pavilion well that you guys encountered danger. You've been missing for almost 3 days." Long Yunzhan's cold voice could not hide the slight tremble in it. Tong Ziqing's usually cold and elegant face couldn't help but tear up. "Where did you guys go? We've been looking for you for 3 days. Our brothers are dying of anxiety." Behind her, 10 over Devil Class's students all had red eyes as they looked at Yiqing Luo. He was clearly happily participating in the auction at the Jubao Pavilion. He had not expected that when the guests arrived, they saw Yan Xiaoyi being kidnapped, and following that, Xiao Jin had disappeared. Following that, there was news of Yi Qing Luo and Dmo Xian disappearing from the Jubao pavilion. They instantly got anxious. Yan Xiaoyi was kidnapped in front of the guests. Yi Qing Luo and Dmo Xian must have gone to save Yan Xiaoyi. Chapter 1912. The siblings Shiruo Yu and Shiruo Shi blamed themselves endlessly. They increased the number of guards to search for Yi Qing Luo and the others. Devil classes students also joined the search team. Finally, found them. Yi Qing Luo gently touched Shiruo Shi's head. Shiruo Shi sniffled and squirmed out of Yi Qing Luo's arms, pouncing into her own brother's arms. She knew that she wasn't the only one who was worried about Yi Qing Luo. Now that she had confirmed her sister's safety, she was assured. Yi Qing Luo looked at Shiruo Shi's actions as she laughed helplessly. This lass was really so obedient that it made one dote on her. She smiled gently, raised her eyes, and fixed her gaze in front of her. In front of her were faces filled with worry. Her charming eyes blinked as it sparkled with heartache and touched. Her eyelashes were also wet as she tried her best to curl her lips, blossoming into a bright smile as she stretched out her hand towards them. "Brothers, we're back." Her clear and sweet voice was filled with deep emotion. That pair of crystal-bright eyes, faintly rippled with tears. Devil classes students finally couldn't hold it in. They swarmed forward as they surrounded Yi Qing Luo and the others in groups. They were worried for Yi Qing Luo and the others for 2 days. They were finally assured. Luckily, everyone was fine. Long Yunzhan stood by the side, his azure blue eyes, looking at the excited crowd. His brows couldn't help but reveal a faint smile. After the laughter, someone reacted, "Right, we have to inform the other brothers immediately. They are still trying to find out about your news in South Continent." That person was preparing to leave anxiously when he was stopped by Shiruo Yu. "Something happened to you in Treasure Gathering Pavilion. As one of the representatives of Treasure Gathering Pavilion, I should bear all the responsibility. Tonight I will set up a banquet at Drifting Fragrance Restaurant. Take it as my apology to Devil Class's students." That Devil Class student looked towards Yi Qing Luo. On seeing Yi Qing Luo nodding, he swiftly scuttled out of Treasure Gathering Pavilion. The entire storeroom started to bustle with noise and excitement. Devil Class's students were chattering incessantly, asking where Yi Qing Luo had been these 2 days. Just as they were in the midst of the joyous noise, suddenly a surprised voice was heard, "Xiao Yi! Xiao Yi!" Everyone was startled and looked in the direction of the voice. Yan Xiaoyi falls into Xiao Jin's arms. Under the sunlight, her delicate face was strangely pale, like a fragile doll. "What's going on?" Yi Qing Luo frowned as she pushed the crowd aside and walked over. Xiao Jin hugged Yan Xiaoyi helplessly, his face pale. "I don't know. She just suddenly. Let me take a look first." Baiming Lu squeezed through the crowd and immediately took Yan Xiaoyi's pulse. After checking his pulse for a long time, Baiming Lu's face sank and became extremely ugly. Xiao Jin nervously tightened his arms. What's going on? Is Xiao Yi alright?" "She was poisoned." Baiming Lu's expression was grave as she released Yi Qing Luo's hand and stood up. "This poison is too complicated. I have no way to cure it." "You can't do anything. Lulu, you're the descendant of a divine doctor family, you can't have no way." Qing Luo. Xiao Jin's pupils constricted, and when he heard Baiming Lulu's words, his expression instantly turned ugly, as though he had lost everything. He instinctively sought help from Yi Qing Luo. As long as Yi Qing Luo was around, she would absolutely not let anything happen to Yan Xiaoyi. "Jin Zi, calm down, nothing will happen to Xiao Yi." Yi Qing Luo comforted him. Following that, she looked towards the other brothers. Is Ghost Doctor Master still in South Continent? Star. Chapter 1913. The students were also shocked by Yan Xiaoyi's sudden collapse. Tong Ziqing was the first to react. I'll go to the sky room to look for Lord Ghost Doctor. I'll go. Yi Qing Luo took a look at Yan Xiaoyi's pale face and suddenly recalled the blood which she had come into contact with before she entered the godless array. The blood was also tainted with the poison of the godless island. It was likely that Yan Xiaoyi had already been poisoned since then. It was just that he was afraid that Qiao Jin would be worried, so he suppressed it and did not reveal it. And when she rushed to the battle dimension, she was wholeheartedly thinking about solving their relationship problems, so she didn't notice Yan Xiaoyi's physical problems. The poison that Yan Xiaoyi was inflicted with should be the ultimate poison of Godless Island. Moreover, the poison in Yan Xiaoyi's body and the poison in Qiao Jin's body were on a completely different level. The 100 dispelling pill that she had refined had cured the poison in Qiao Jin's body, but had not been able to clear the poison in Yan Xiaoyi's body. Looks like this poison can only be cured by Master Ghost Doctor. Yi Qing Luo turned her head towards Shi Ruoyu. Ruoyu, can I trouble you to prepare a room for Xiaoyi? I'll bring Master Ghost Doctor over immediately. As she finished speaking, she summoned Shi Ju and leaped onto Shi Ju's back before shouting, "Let's go." Shi Ju turned into a black afterimage, vanishing before everyone's eyes. Shi Ju's speed was extremely fast. In just a short moment, he had already arrived at the first room. Yi Qing Luo's speed was much faster than the devil-class students who had rushed back to report. And because of this, the few devil-class students who were surrounding the sky room number 1, as well as the students and elders from the various academies, all saw a huge black panther beast descending from the sky. The woman in red was sitting on the leopard. They were all shocked. These 2 days, Yan Xiaoyi had been kidnapped at Jubao Pavilion, and Qiao Jin had disappeared soon after. After that, Yi Qing Luo and Dmo Xian went searching for Yan Xiaoyi, but they didn't manage to catch a glimpse of them. Almost the entire South Billow continent was turning upside down in search of them. Madame Qing Luo. It's Madame Qing Luo. The students of the devil class stepped forward to welcome them. Before he could express his joy, he heard Yi Qing Luo asking anxiously, "Where's Ghost Doctor Master? Is Madame Qing Luo hurt?" Lord Ghost Doctor is refining medicine in the medicine refining room. Madame Qing Luo, you. Before they could finish their words, suddenly, a hurricane appeared in front of him, blowing sand into his face. They hurriedly raised their arms to cover their faces. But when the hurricane subsided, there was no sign of Yi Qing Luo at all. The students were all stunned as they recalled Yi Qing Luo's earlier question. Could it be that someone was injured? Continue treating the Ghost Doctor. On the other side, Yi Qing Luo hurriedly rushed towards the main courtyard's alchemy room. Outside the alchemy room, there were more than 30 alchemy apprentices in cyan robes. The vice principal was standing at the side, talking to a gloomy-looking old man about something. It seemed like they were having a quarrel. The huge black leopard attracted everyone's attention. Vice President's gaze fell from the leopard beast onto Yi Qing Luo. His eyes were filled with joy as he said, "Little Luo. You're finally back." Yi Qing Luo leapt down from Shi Yan's back as she took quick steps towards Vice President, stopping him from continuing with the conventional greetings. "Vice President, where is my master? I need to talk to him about something urgent." Before the Vice President could say anything, the gloomy-looking old man by the side gave her an extremely disdainful look. "You're that Ghost Doctor's disciple? Your aptitude isn't that great. I thought this so-called Ghost Doctor's foresight was really good." That weird tone made Yi Qing Luo's slender brows suddenly creased. Star. Chapter 1914. Vice President saw the change in Yiqing Luo's expression and immediately laughed dryly as he pulled the elderly man away. Following that, he put on a smile as he looked at Yiqing Luo. Ghost Doctor is in the pill refining room and has already been here for an entire day. Yiqing Luo nodded her head and directly walked towards the direction of the pill refining room. The Vice Dean immediately stopped her. Girl, even though you're the Ghost Doctor's disciple, but, before the Ghost Doctor went in, he specifically warned us that no one is allowed to go in and disturb him while he's refining pills. He paused and revealed a troubled look. You should also know your master's personality. I know. Yiqing Luo pushed away the Vice President's hand. Xiao Yi is injured. Vice President was stunned as he recalled that the reason why Yiqing Luo had disappeared for the past 2 days was to look for the kidnapped Yan Xiao Yi. He retracted his hand and didn't stop her. Don't think that just because you're that Ghost Doctor's disciple, you can enter the medicine refining room. That Ghost Doctor's style is really big. In someone else's territory, she dares to chase away the owner and forcibly occupy the medicine refining room. This is the first time I've seen such a shameless medicine master. The old man next to him spoke in a strange tone. His face was full of contempt and disdain. Yiqing Luo's footsteps paused. She glanced sideways at the old man coldly and the corners of her lips curled into a cold smile. An apothecary at the level of a medicine ancestor? When the old man heard this, a smug look appeared on his face. You've heard of this old man's name. That's right, I am the only master apothecary at the medicine grandmaster level in the headquarters. You can call me Master Yao Lao. Yiqing Luo's lips curled up slightly as her eyes were filled with ridicule. What a coincidence, my master is also an elder-level alchemist. Yao Lao was slightly stunned, not understanding the meaning of Yiqing Luo's words. The next moment, Yiqing Luo's chilly voice cleared his doubts. Unfortunately, in a situation where both of us are at the same level, you are not even comparable to a single finger of my master. To think that you have the title of a medicinal grandmaster, it's just an empty shell. Leaving this sentence behind, Yiqing Luo headed towards the direction of the pill refining room without even turning her head back. No matter how Yao Lao cursed at her from behind, Yiqing Luo couldn't be bothered with him. He didn't know how long the poison in Xiao Yi's body would last. She did not have the time to waste with Yao Lao here. If it wasn't for Yao Lao constantly insulting his master Ghost Doctor, she didn't even want to pay attention to it. Yao Lao took some time before he understood the meaning behind Yiqing Luo's words. His old face instantly turned steely green as he clenched his teeth and rolled up his sleeves, wanting to settle the score with Yiqing Luo. Vice President stopped Yao Lao, but he had no choice but to admit Yiqing Luo's words. They were both medicine grandmasters. However, the Ghost Doctor's name had spread far and wide. She was even called the Ghost Hand Doctor. It could be said that if it wasn't for the fact that Yiqing Luo had mentioned that Ghost Doctor was merely an elder level, he probably thought that the Ghost Doctor was either a medicine emperor or a medicine immortal. Looking at the medicine faction's alchemists, whom they had always been proud of, their faces were twisted with jealousy. The Vice President sighed helplessly. Yiqing Luo walked directly into the pill refining room without any restraint. The surrounding alchemists looked at each other in dismay, but due to Yiqing Luo's imposing manner, they didn't dare to stop her. The Ghost Doctor stayed in the medicine refining room for a day. At least 3 people had been forcefully thrown out by the Ghost Doctor. This young lady actually dared to barge in. The junior alchemists were all guessing when Yiqing Luo would be thrown out by that emotionally unstable Ghost Doctor. The junior alchemists specially stood on the left and right sides, leaving an empty space in front of the door. But after waiting for some time, that tightly shut door didn't open at all. Star. Chapter 1915. The pill refinement room was filled with smoke. A huge cauldron floated in midair, and a raging fire burned below it. A white-robed figure with disheveled hair stood under the cauldron. Yiqing Luo took a look at the burning cauldron as she pursed her pink lips. Ghost Doctor Master. The ghost doctor didn't seem to hear her voice, and didn't turn around. At this time, the concoction of the elixir had already reached the latter part. With the ghost doctor's abilities, there was no need for her to guard the cauldron at all times. Ghost Doctor ignored her, and Yiqing Luo knew that he was annoyed with her. She had only just recovered, yet she had already put herself in danger. Yiqing Luo's tone softened as she slowly walked to Ghost Doctor's side, raising her head together with him as she looked at the cultivation furnace. Master Ghost Doctor, the people from Godless Island have attacked me. Yiqing Luo explained the reason for her disappearance for 2 days. The ghost doctor's body stiffened. Yiqing Luo stood very close to him and could feel the change in ghost doctor's breathing. He heard her voice. Yiqing Luo's hand slowly hugged his arm, as her voice was a little soft. Ghost Doctor Master, I've been with Xian for the past 2 days, not leaving him by even half a step. I also didn't rely on the fact that you've treated all my injuries, to act recklessly and recklessly. The ghost doctor's body stiffened. As though he was extremely unnatural and not used to Yiqing Luo's nearness. Master Ghost Doctor, look at how cute and adorable I am trying to please you. Can you help me, please? Yiqing Luo hugged Ghost Doctor's arm and started shaking it. The ghost doctor truly doted on her. She also believed that the ghost doctor would not ignore the students of devil class. Otherwise, with the ghost doctor's personality, he would have long wished to return to the West Continent, return to his own medicine refining room, and live his life of refining medicine. How could he possibly remain on the South Waves continent? He stayed behind because he wasn't sure if the missing Yiqing Luo and the others had met with any danger. When Yiqing Luo and the others returned, they could treat them at the first instance. Yiqing Luo had long seen through Ghost Doctor's cold on the outside but warm on the inside. As expected, towards Yiqing Luo's act of acting cute, Ghost Doctor ultimately couldn't stand it. Under Yiqing Luo's reluctance, she was dragged out of the pill refining room. The door opened. Plop plop plop, sounds could be heard. The 30 or so young alchemists were lying on the ground. On seeing that it wasn't only Yiqing Luo who walked out, Ghost Doctor was with her. The junior medicine masters were so scared that they trembled and knelt on the ground. Lord Ghost Doctor. They had thought that eavesdropping and peeking at the Ghost Doctor refining medicine would definitely anger the Ghost Doctor, who had a violent temper and would throw people out of the refining room at the slightest provocation. In the past, when they peeped at Yao Lao refining medicine, they would be punished by Yao Lao when they were discovered. However, the Ghost Doctor didn't even look at them. He walked straight past them and into the front yard. Just as the junior apothecaries were feeling extremely perturbed, they saw the beautiful girl beside the Ghost Doctor reveal a devastatingly beautiful smile at them. There are still pills refined by my master in the medicine refinement room. Take a good look. Once the refinement is successful, these pills will be a gift from my master to you young alchemists. After saying that, he turned his head and bade farewell to the vice dean, then pulled the Ghost Doctor onto Shiju's back and swaggered off. The eyes of the young alchemists lit up. A gift from the Ghost Doctor. Not only did the Ghost Doctor not punish them, he even gave them a gift. The junior apothecaries flocked as they rushed into the pill refining room. You're tuning into the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.